So, I mean, if I remember correctly, there would be like a lot of rumors going around.
Oh, yeah.
And so give us
Yeah.
some good rumors or some consistent ones or.
Oh, there was a lot of rumors. In other words, everybody was trying to, back then information meant something. Now it's computer spits out. But back then information meant something. If you knew Joe Blow broke his arm, it meant something. Nobody knew it but you and Joe Blow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Inside information, kind of.
it actually was inside information.
If it was real.
Yeah. Now everybody knows it. It's all over ESPN. It's everywhere.
Right.
You know.
But if I remember a little bit, it would be like, oh my goodness, this whole basketball team was traveling, and guess what? They have a flat tire. They're not going to make it, and their bus fell over.
Well,
Things like that.
The game would be canceled in that case.
But it would be.
But if their star player
Yeah.
fell off the bus and got run over,
right,
that would mean something.
Yeah, that means something. You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
remember, because it was a different time.
Yep, and people just were thirsty for that information. You know, so.
The phone part is interesting. I noticed that you did not bring that to the Stardust with you.
What's that?
The phone call that I could call my customers.
No, then you couldn't have a phone.
No, by that time.
No, in the Stardust, you couldn't even have a cell phone.
Yeah.
You couldn't have. In fact, the phones in the pit couldn't be where they could see the board. They were so afraid that somebody was going to call the line out.
Yeah.
No.
Why do you think that is?
Why, on whose part? The gaming board or the bettors or what?
Well, to me, it's a little bit because the numbers were so volatile that you could have had somebody come in and run your number so far up.
Well, they did, yeah.
Yeah, and so they didn't want what do you call them? Runners to know, or bettors?
No.
No?
The gaming board, they were so paranoid. They thought that everybody behind every potted plant there was a criminal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they thought that if you got on the phone and called somebody, you were calling an illegal bookie. And in Las Vegas, you couldn't know me. It was just.
Do you think that was just for the Stardust, or was that
No,
just
that was
a fallout
that was a
for the
regulation.
Stardust?
Yeah, that was a regulation.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So let's go into characters. Tell us some good.
Before you get into the phones, remember the phone rule we had?
Yes. Yeah.
So I figured out we couldn't call, so you couldn't have a phone where you could see the board.
Right.
In other words, you couldn't carry a cell phone in because you could see the boards,
Right.
the odds. When I say board, I mean the odds. So I got this old porter's room, and I got permission. We turned it into a phone room. We put 5 phones on the wall like this, and on the other side was a sports book.
Right.
You couldn't see the
You couldn't
boards.
see- I remember,
And
yeah.
it just drove the gaming board crazy because it was under the regulations. You couldn't see the boards.
Yeah.
But we had 5 free phones.
Yes.
And it just drove them nuts. They just couldn't wrap their head around it. That
You followed regulation, but
Yeah.
you got around it somehow.
We drove them crazy. Anyway, what you asked me, Patty?
Well, I kind of for sure want to go into some of your stories about just things, people. I think it was just like a different. Again, we go back to a different kind of an era because you really had to interact with the people who were taking your bets.
Yeah.
You had to interact, and I know you had regulars,
Yeah.
and even the regulars knew each other because it wasn't like you could sit at home on your computer or your phone app or anything and watch numbers to move or anything, and so they all. The number one thing I will never forget is how they had to draw cards.
Oh, that's in the morning?
Because that was an incident in itself.
Yeah, we had so much business that we couldn't handle it. First of all, the reason we had so much business was because I made our limits. By that I mean the money we took on each game.
The maximum.
The maximum you could bet at once. I kept it small purposely because I wanted all the numbers to just keep changing. So every time we got a limit bet, we changed the odds. So some days we'd have maybe 500, 600, 700 changes. And it just went back and forth and back and forth. And these guys, they couldn't leave the Stardust because they were afraid that the
number would change.
The odds that they were looking for would change.
Yeah.
They were captive. They had to stay there.
Right.
So that's why in the morning we had so much business that we didn't know what to do. They were starting. they started to pay guys, bums off the street, $5 an hour to come and stand in front of the window,
Yeah.
so they could come in the next morning and take his place.
Yeah.
You know, they were paying these guys to stand there all night,
Right.
$5 an hour.
Yeah.
So I remember one night, one of the guys had to go to the bathroom. He's standing there. He's standing there. He's in his spot. And these dumbbells, they all went in a line like ducks. They were afraid to give up their spot. So they all followed this guy into the restroom. Like a line of people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's, it's because nobody wanted to give their spot up.
Right.
If you got out, you lost your spot.
So they had a deal going on. Let's just keep it.
Yeah, just keep your spot. We'll all go
Tomorrow
to
night, if it's you, we'll do the
yeah,
same
we'll all
thing.
go to the bathroom.
Oh
yeah.
my.
Yeah. So then I got tired of looking at these guys. I said, well, what are we going to do? So then we decided to put up stanchions, I guess you call it. You know, the
little red things.
And they did that. They just took them and threw them away. You know, the customers. You know.
Yeah.
And then we made it so that they couldn't go past the chairs. It was like a 10-yard dash. You know? So then we had to figure out. So then we come up with the idea to draw cards. We had what we called a lottery. You had to reserve a place. It's like going in the butcher shop and getting a number.
Right.
You know, all right, number 6. So we had a sheet. You sign up. It made no difference where you signed. And then we drew cards, and each card corresponded to a number on that sheet. And that's how, you know, Sam Brown, you're number 1 at window 1. Joe Blow, you're number 1 at window 2.
Right.
Just like going to the butcher shop. That's
Yeah.
it's the only way we
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah.
There was just too much business.
Yes.
You were there.
I was.
You were there.
Yeah.
You were the only girl, woman, female that could actually. I actually felt comfortable. You could actually open up the place and run it.
Yes.
You know, and there was a lot of tough guys, a lot of wise guys, and they all respected you. No, there was no problems. You know, maybe Pete White was. He might have been the only one to give you a problem.
But he didn't respect anybody.
No.
He was Pete White.
He was completely out of his mind. Anyways, but I could sit at home and I could have the numbers ready, the odds, and I could call them to you, and you could go open up, and you could handle all these guys. And there's no other female I know that can do that. They have female supervisors, but they're just eyewash. All they do is, you know, they're like secretaries. They're programmed, and it's all computerized. They don't make decisions.
No.
They don't make decisions. It's all computerized. But you actually had to make a decision. You had to actually keep track of the money by hand.
Right.
And know how much was
Yeah.
on hand. Called a chart. Write the money down, and as soon as you get to a certain number, you change the odds. And it was a tough
Keep the
job,
balance.
and you did
Yeah.
it. You know, you're the only, and still the only
That's-
one I know that could handle that.
That's
you know?
right. Now you have to say you are my mentor. You gave me that opportunity, which is
Well,
amazing during that time of time
Oh,
for
are you
women.
kidding me?
Oh my
Yeah.
heavens! Yeah, it was. So it's-
There wasn't that many girls even come in
No.
the books.
no.
You know.
No.
I remember Churchill. There's never. If you ever saw a girl in the book, you say, "Oh my
That's
God,
right.
what the hell is she doing?" You know.
Yeah, she must have just bought him money.
Yeah, we had 2 girls that come in Churchill. What? No, I don't even want to get into that. Anyways.
We just say that Vegas is colorful, and it always will be. That
the
is
one
for
girl,
sure.
her nickname was Cement, because she was built like a brick shit house. But other than that, then there was another girl, Susie Wong. Anyways, that's another story. But so we kept the limits reasonable. I knew what our customers, what they would bet. Maybe we kept it like pro football during the week would be like 10,000 maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of these books nowadays, they say, "Oh, we took 100,000 on Arizona." Well, big deal. Now you got to win it. You know.
Well, you got to win it or even it. Yeah. One
Yeah,
or the
but
other.
how are you going to even 100,000?
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
a couple thousand a crack.
Yeah.
So I kept it so that, you know, we could get money on both sides. I knew what we could handle, and the line would move a little bit, and it would run a little bit, and change 2 or 3 points, and then it'd get to the point, and then then wise guys would come in and take the money back the other way, you know.
And wait till game time. And
Yeah.
go, hey, you need to be evened out a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. We had customers like Spinner and different customers that we knew that we could give them, you know, a certain amount at the old odds that we need.
Yeah, it's like, bargaining a little bit just to, and maybe, people don't understand what evening it is, but it really is. You never want to be in a situation where you could lose, like you say,
Like you have to
especially
win the
back
game.
then,
Yeah.
100,000 in that game, like you're rooting for the game, because guess what? Betting is not as easy as it looks, but you know what? You just keep it fun. But no, if you got 100,000, 300,000 on a game as the book, phew, that next day with accounting is not going to be fun.
No. But I mean, that's what we did was we booked the old-fashioned way, the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not brain surgery. You just
Back and forth.
You put up a good number, a good money,
Yeah.
a good odds that you think you can get money on both sides. And the secret is you got to take the first bet. Once you take the first bet, you're on your way.
Yeah. You see where it's going?
Yep. Take your first
That's
bet,
it.
and then from then on, it's just a matter of doing your job. You know.
I think it's interesting right now, I don't want to get into this too much, but it's so interesting that because of, going into artificial intelligence and computers and everything, the numbers become so close. It's almost like it's not even fun anymore.
Yeah, it's the last bet bash I had. I was sitting on a panel with a bunch of other nerds, and these guys are all computer wizards, and they've got things figured to the millionth of a whatever the hell they do. I don't know, but it's so sterile. It's just so sterile. It's not even fun.
Let's move into a little bit, because that people did have to hang out in the sports and the race book. They hung out where they couldn't go. Numbers were moving too fast, right? And so everybody kind of got to know we'll call their favorites. And coming to mind, I think just tell us maybe about one that really, really comes to mind and why.
Well, you mentioned Bobby the Owl. He worked for me in Reno. I had a book in Reno, or I opened the book in Reno at the Calanita, and Bobby hated it up there. I don't blame him. Anyways, his job during the Monday Night Football game at halftime, we had a gimmick where if your team was ahead at halftime on your ticket, you present your ticket to the writer and you get a free hot dog and a beer, which was a nice little thing. Some guy comes up and gives Bobby his ticket. Bobby looks at it, throws him his free hot dogs thing, and says, "Where are you going to eat the rest of the week?"
That's it, Bobby the Owl. Because and didn't he have a lot of up and down on his glasses? Because
he put his glasses up and he says, "Where are you going to eat the rest of the week?" The guy says, "Bobby, I just want my hot dog."
Yes.
And here it turned out it was the governor's son-in-law. The next day, Bobby was on the plane back to Las Vegas.
Their characters were just because they had nothing else to do.
Willie the Watch. Remember Willie the Watch?
I don't remember Willie the Watch.
He had watches up and down his sleeve. He probably had 10 watches on it. Don't ask me why, but he bet big money. I remember the last day we saw him, he came in, he had a phone account. He came in and took $40,000 out of his phone account. It's the last we saw him. Nobody knows what happened to him.
Yeah.
So you can figure that out. You know. But there was a lot of,
we just call them characters.
Yeah, characters.
And it's an interesting life. Then
remember Abner in the phone room?
Oh my goodness, Abner! I forgot about Abner.
He was the self-appointed maintenance man in the phone room.
Yes, he was.
If a tourist came in and wrote a phone number while he's talking on the phone, Abner would come in and erase it. Oh, he cleaned the floor.
He was.
For nothing.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah.
Just because he had nowhere else to go. And that. Sometimes it was their home.
Yeah.
That really
it really was.
And we say that as if it's a sad thing, but where else sometimes
it was like a brotherhood,
It was.
The funny thing to start us, they needed us and we needed them. We needed customers.
Yeah.
And they needed a place to bet. And we furnished them with a place to bet, and they furnished us with money. So, it worked out good.
It worked out. It was a relationship.
Yeah. My philosophy was when a guy gets up in the morning in Las Vegas and he's going to go make a bet, he doesn't have to make a choice like, where should I go?
Right.
Who's going to have this game on the board? They know that the start is what happened. And we catered to the guys that the other books didn't want. If they thought a guy was half smart, they would 86 him. They wouldn't let him in the place.
Yeah.
I say, please come and bet with us.
Yeah.
You know, they give you their money, then they have to win it back. You know, which is, you know.
And 86 of them, what that would mean is like,
Yeah, please.
don't come here anymore.
We would cater to
might win.
all the wise guys, Billy Walters,
Yes.
all of them. We would cater
Yeah.
to all of them. And come on, please bet with us, you know.
Yep. We had a good time.
Yep, we did.
So Scott, I am so happy you're here today, and I want to congratulate you on becoming part of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And you deserve it. You
Yeah.
really do. You know, you were a pioneer in everything here, and you deserve being where they're inducting you. This is first round too.
Yeah.
This is first round, so you're one of the first inductees
I'll
in
be
here.
the first.
And so my gift I'm giving you today, I'll get better at this, but of course it's going to be all about me because you know that's who I am. So here's your keychain.
Oh, wow.
Here's your keychain. Bet
That's
money,
awesome.
honey.
You got keys for this too?
Well, no,
Keys
to
a
your
Cadillac?
car, to your card. Here's your button too.
Oh, wow.
Because Scott asked me, he goes, "Why would women want to bet?" And I'm like, "Because we want to win money, right?"
Oh, wow.
Oh, just kind
I'll
of
put
teasing
keys
you.
to my Cadillac on that.
There.
Yeah, yeah. Rags to riches story.
That's it.
Mostly rags, but not so much riches. You know.
You know, I really appreciate you coming and talking to me.
Yeah.
And
I'm
yeah.
glad to have you. I mean, I'm glad you worked for me because I didn't have to worry about anything when you were there.
Thank you for that.
You know, you were on my side. I didn't have to worry about anything.
And I'm going to be there on Friday night,
Yeah.
Hall of Fame member, yes.
Yeah.
And so, as
right.
well deserved. And I
Yeah.
think other people were pushing for you too because
I hope so.
you
Yeah.
think that this wasn't a pioneer time? It
Yeah,
really
it
was.
Yeah, we
Yes.
did some things that
No,
we drove the game.
No,
board
I'll never
crazy.
forget those crazy basketball games, but I'll let you go after this one.
What-
The what was it? It wasn't the regular basketball. It
Oh,
was
the added games.
Oh my goodness, that's when they all went crazy.
Yep, that was a stroke of genius.
It was.
We had. I figured if we could get in big markets with small colleges
Yeah.
like San Francisco, Miami, you know, they have big markets, but they have a lot of small schools in there.
Right.
So we started booking all these small schools, you know, and just went crazy.
Oh,
I
it
said,
did.
And the papers would call, the newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, can we use your odds? I'll say, you can use our odds as long as you put our name there.
Now that's when we started having fights in the lobby.
Yeah.
When they were waiting in line.
Yeah.
That was when that started happening.
Yeah.
Because that was insane.
Then there's Alan Boston.
That's who it was. Alan, that's who I was
He
trying to
was
think
always
of.
mad at you?
He was always mad at everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
He was a very cerebral guy. But
Yeah.
I remember he had a yellow Corvette and he lost it. He had no idea where it was. He had chips, $5,000 chips. He'd lose them. No idea, and he didn't care.
I should have just followed him around then.
Yeah, he didn't care because he knew he could win it back.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Alan Boston. Yeah, what a yeah.
That's
Okay.
better than a Bobby the Owl. Yes. Joining us today, and I want you to know this is our inaugural podcast, and how much better could it not be with Scott Schettler being part of it, because he is going to be one of the first inductees into the Sports Hall of Fame, and well deserving. Again, I'm Patty Davidson, and I am here to teach you how to bet money, honey, and thank you so much for joining us.